In 1968, the United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, small copper coins that many Americans used every day without a second thought. But hidden among these ordinary coins, a few rare and extraordinary pieces were created, coins so special that today, one of them can fetch up to $183,000 at auction. Yes, a simple 1-cent coin that could change a collector's life forever. The 1968 Lincoln penny comes from a fascinating period in U.S. coinage history. During the late 1960s, the mint was dealing with changes in design, die varieties, and production techniques. There were 3 main mints producing the penny that year: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each had its own mint mark. No mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But it's the 1968S proof penny that stands out. And some of these proof coins hide secrets that even experts took years to uncover. Collectors began to notice unusual varieties of the 1968S Lincoln penny. Some had double dies, where the design elements, especially the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," appeared to have a ghosted or shadowed image. This doubling was caused by a misalignment during the minting process, and only a handful of these coins escaped the mint in perfect proof condition. These tiny imperfections created an astronomical difference in value. What once was a 1-cent coin became one of the most sought-after rarities in American numismatics. The most famous among them is the 1968S proof double die obverse. This variety shows strong doubling on the inscriptions and the date, making it instantly recognizable under magnification. Because these were proof coins, they were meant to be flawless, polished dies, mirrored surfaces, and sharp details. Finding a double die among proof coins was like finding a diamond inside another diamond. Only a few dozen have been confirmed to exist, making them incredibly rare. In today's collector market, condition is everything. A 1968S penny graded as proof 6/8, red or higher by PCGS or NGC can command a fortune. At auctions, pristine examples have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, with one reaching as high as $183,000. The combination of rarity, historical importance, and collector demand makes it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever struck. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people would overlook as pocket change, but in reality, it's a small fortune in copper. So, how can you tell if you might have one of these treasures? Look closely at any 1968 penny you come across, especially those with the S mint mark. Check the lettering and the date under magnification for any signs of doubling. The doubling is usually strongest on Liberty and In God We Trust. If you spot something unusual, it might be worth sending your coin to a professional grading service for authentication. You could be holding a piece of numismatic history worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Liberty and In God We Trust. If you spot something unusual, it might be worth sending your coin to a professional grading service for authentication. You could be holding a piece of numismatic history worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The story of the 1968 Lincoln penny reminds us that great value often hides in plain sight. These coins were never meant to be special, yet through a small mistake in the minting process, they became legendary. Whether you're a collector or just someone curious about the hidden worth of coins in circulation, the 1968 penny proves that sometimes even the smallest things can hold the greatest treasures. So next time you find an old penny from 1968, don't dismiss it as just a cent. Take a closer look, because one day that tiny copper coin might just make you $183,000 richer. In 1968, the United States Mint struck millions of Lincoln pennies, ordinary coins used in everyday life. But among these seemingly common cents, a few rare treasures were created by accident, and one of them is now worth up to $183,000. That's right, a small copper coin from 1968 could be worth more than most luxury cars. These pennies are valuable not just for their age, but for a rare and fascinating minting era that makes them unique in the world of coin collecting. The 1968 Lincoln penny was struck in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced special proof coins, carefully made with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces for collectors. However, some of these proof coins contained an extraordinary mistake known as a double die obverse. This error caused parts of the design, such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, to appear slightly duplicated or shadowed. These rare double die pennies are among the most prized finds for collectors today, because the 1968S proof pennies were made with extra care. Discovering a doubling on such a coin was a major surprise. Proof coins were not supposed to have such visible errors, and that's what makes them so rare and valuable. Only a few of these error coins exist, and when they appear at auction, they can fetch enormous prices. In one notable sale, a pristine 1968S proof double die Lincoln penny sold for an astonishing $183,000, turning a simple 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. The value of a 1968 Lincoln penny depends heavily on its condition and rarity. Regular circulation coins from that year are worth only face value, but the rare double die proof varieties can bring thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially when graded by top services like PCGS or NGC. Collectors seek coins with bright red luster and flawless proof surfaces, as these command the highest premiums. Each coin's tiny details can make the difference between a penny and a fortune. The story of the 1968 Lincoln penny is a perfect reminder that hidden treasures can be found in.
Have you ever held a nickel in your hand and wondered if it might be worth a small fortune? It may sound unbelievable, but one seemingly ordinary 1986 Jefferson nickel has stunned collectors and investors alike, selling for a jaw-dropping $159,000. Yes, one coin, just 5 cents in face value, turned into a small fortune. But what made this coin so incredibly valuable? Why 1986? And how can you tell if the Jefferson nickel in your pocket change might be the next hidden treasure? Today, we dive deep into the story, history, and secrets of the 1986 Jefferson nickel, what sets it apart, how it was made, what errors to look for, and how one coin changed everything for a lucky collector. Let's start by taking a step back to understand the roots of the Jefferson nickel. Introduced in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel that had circulated for 25 years. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel featured the bust of America's 3rd president, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, and Monticello his Virginia home on the reverse. For decades, the design remained virtually unchanged, and billions were minted. It was a workhorse coin of the American economy. But not all nickels are created equal. Fast forward to 1986. By then, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for almost 50 years. The U.S. Mint struck over 962 million nickels that year across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. A common coin, right? Yes and no. For most of those coins, their journey was unremarkable. They were exchanged for goods, dropped into jars, and forgotten in couch cushions. But in a rare twist of minting fate, 11986 Jefferson nickel was born different, and it would later rock the numismatic world. So what made this one coin worth $159,000? It wasn't the age. It wasn't the metal content. It's still the standard copper-nickel alloy. It wasn't even a low mintage. The answer lies in 3 powerful forces in the world of coin collecting: condition, error, and rarity. Let's unpack each one. First, condition. In the coin world, condition is king. The Sheldon scale is used to grade coins from 1 to 70, with MS70 being a perfect, flawless coin. The 1986 Jefferson nickel in question was graded MS68 full steps, a near perfect specimen. What does full steps mean? It refers to the steps on Monticello on the reverse of the coin. On most nickels, the steps wear down quickly or are weakly struck to begin with. A full steps designation means that the steps are sharply defined and complete, an extremely rare feature, especially on older coins. It signals exceptional strike quality, but even an MS-68 full steps coin wouldn't normally fetch such a high price. So what else was at play? The second factor, mint errors. This particular 1986 Jefferson nickel is believed to have a remarkable mint error, most likely a striking anomaly, such as a dot clash, off-center strike, or even being struck on the wrong planchet.